Welcome to the Circuit of Success Podcast.
The Circuit of Success Podcast.
With your host,
Brett
Gilliland.
Brett Gilliland, Visionary Wealth Advisory.
The Circuit of Success Podcast. Let's start the show.
Welcome to the Circuit of Success. I'm your host, Brett Gilliland. Today I've got Robert Hammamy. Robert, what's up, my man?
Well, what's up?
How are you?
I'm glad to be here. I'm good. This is exciting. First in-person podcast
Is that right?
I've done. Yeah.
Yeah, I like them a lot more. You know, you can kind of feel the energy. You
This
can
is cool.
Feel if somebody's actually going to continue talking. Are they not talking? You don't know.
Right.
Sometimes you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
When it's
Can you hear me? Am I muted?
Exactly.
You're on mute.
Sometimes I get an echo. It's fun. These are a lot better. So,
Yeah.
well, man, you are the founder of Hat Launch.
Yep.
And here's what I wrote down. I think this is pretty cool. From your one machine in your family room in 2018
Yep.
to a few machines in your garage
Yep.
to 8,400 square feet to soon to be 40,000 plus square feet, all
Correct.
since 2018, dude.
Yep.
Selling hats.
It's been a rocket.
It's been a rocket. Well, it's funny. So here's how we met. For those watching or listening, is I get a call from a guy, Tyler. Tyler used to be an intern for me back in, mid 2000s, I think. I can't remember the year. Maybe 2012, 2010, somewhere in there probably.
Yep.
He calls and says, "Hey, I just want to come by for some business advice." I'm like, "Great. Yeah, you want to give back to a guy you used to work with you." And
Yep.
next thing I know, I'm buying hats. I'm like, what in the hell just happened? And he didn't do that. It wasn't like he came to me and just started selling stuff, but he's doing a good job. So Tyler Smith, you did awesome, connected us, and now I'm a proud owner of Hat Launch. And
Heck yeah, man.
lots of hats. We're going to keep getting them. So anyway, I'll be quiet, and I want to turn it over to you, man, and talk about what has helped make you the man you are today, because you just don't go from your garage to 40,000 square feet overnight.
Yeah, that's a question. So my family, I guess I grew up in the restaurant industry. So my family's owned restaurants since I was a kid. And my mom we moved to Highland so that my mom could open a restaurant with my aunt and my grandma in Highland. And like when we're there, the whole family worked there together. Tyler actually worked there too. That's where Tyler met his wife too. It's a lot of marriages came out of that place too, which is super interesting.
Right.
But it's just always been hard work in the family, I think, and especially my mom and my dad are both really hard workers. My mom specifically, she works for me now, so we can get into that part of the story too, but she is like the hardest worker you'll ever meet in your life, like just still is today. And I think that's where I get my hard work and work ethic and ability to just work, like that's to do what I've done in the short amount of time. It's constant work, and you have to be able to do that constant work. Otherwise it doesn't happen. So that's just like a brief little where I've come from and kind of my foundings, like seeing my family break their backs running restaurants for not very much, like that's a tough industry. And my uncle actually owns one right here, the O-Town. He has that one. So it's about 8 total. There. Yeah, he's got the cat. I was so excited when he told me he was doing that.
That's unique.
Yeah,
people always talk about
the
that.
robots.
So I mean, you had a normal job, right? What I would call a normal 9-to-5 job. You were doing that, and I think I saw a video. You said normal 9-to-5. You were in debt. Seemed like you wanted more in life.
Yep.
And you decided to do this hat thing, man. And so for people listening, you want to be the number one custom hat headwear maker in the world, right?
Right. If we're not already.
So think about that. The number one custom hat maker in the world.
Yeah. We want to be that. And the industry, like apparel in general, is like multi-billion-dollar industry. It's crazy. And hats alone, like if you look at the big names in hats right now, like they're $100 million businesses. Since 2018, we've done, I think, 13 million in sales. So like we are just like peanuts. Like we're still scraping the surface when it comes to that. But it's insane where we could be, and our processes and what we're doing now is so much better than what's out there in the competition that all it's going to take is time and more people knowing about us to become the best and the number one in the world. So it's super exciting. Just takes a lot of work and time and dedication. But I started out as a software engineer. So I went to Rankin, graduated in 2010, and got my first job actually right over there, Northrop Grumman. It's like the building. Oh, right there, shaped like a a B-2 bomber.
Yeah.
So like it was a contract working for the Air Force right there. Actually, I didn't even think about that till now. That's pretty cool. Full circle. So I was a software engineer for about 10 years, doing many different jobs between the government contract stuff, private sector. And before I quit my job to work for myself full time, I was at Express Scripts. So I don't know if you know much about Express Scripts. Express Scripts is mail order pharmacy, one of the biggest in the world. And they have multiple locations all across the United States where they are fulfilling prescriptions for people. You might get your drugs from Express Scripts and not even really know it because they're so massive. So I was on the team that handled all of the basically pharmacy automations and operations of getting that prescription from a pill to a bottle with a label on it into a box with a shipping label on it out the door. Wow. Using robotics and all sorts of really cool technology to make that happen. I was there for about 3 years, and being there, all of my jobs added up gave me exposure and experience to so many different industries, and seeing how powerful technology could be when applied to industries for anything. And that place specifically just really showed me how much money is out there, how many people are out there to sell things to, and how you can efficiently and effectively scale up an operation with, utilizing labor and technology and robotics, right? Yeah. So such a cool combination of things to work on and see happen, and to build software and release it in that environment and watch it improve a process 10, 20, 30%. Is so cool. So that's
you see the needle move right there.
Yeah. So I'm so grateful for my experience as a software engineer and the jobs that I had, because I took everything that I've learned from all of those jobs and applied it to what we're doing with custom hats. Yeah. Where any other hat, embroidery shop, they're not using software. It's like we're more of a tech company than we are actually a hat company, because the entire operation is running on custom code that I've written. Okay. So when
I applied my logo, my Future Great in Your Past logo to the website.
Yep. That's all code that I've written at 3 or 4 in the morning since 2018.
Jeez.
So yeah, that's also why we've been able to scale how we have, because without those processes and the automation and the code in place to make sure everything's happening how it needs to, like, you just can't do it. Yep. We'd be using pen and paper and Excel spreadsheets, and you can't scale with that. It's not scalable. No. And that's not to say that things haven't broken throughout the way. Like, every single time we hit a new phase in growth, like doubling revenues, part of the process breaks, or part of the process needs to be automated. Or anytime something breaks, I look at how can I automate it? Yeah. How can I make it easier? Or how can I make it so it takes someone like 1 click instead of like 10 processes to get done? Yep. So constantly iterating and improving the processes that way has allowed it to scale and continue to scale as it has.
So what was it like for you when you were working at these, big corporations? Mm-hmm. Didn't you on the side kind of at night go home and start doing all this stuff? And then at what point did you know, okay, I can leave a good government job, paycheck, retirement, health insurance,
That took a long time to get the balls to do it. And so even before I was doing the hat thing in 2018, like, I've always overextended myself to get things that I want. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's cars. That's my vice. Like, I freaking love cars. So like, before I was doing any of the hat stuff, like at one point I had like 3 cars. I had like a BMW 135i and a Corvette Z06 and like a Jeep, like 3 cars on my salary. My wife was back in school with me at that time. So I was overextended, house payment, got a kid, a wife. So, if I wanted the car, I either got a job that paid more or I did side work. So like, I would build things on the side for other companies. Like, there's a couple St. Louis places that I'd be like, hey guys, I got some free time in the evenings. Send me some code that you need written, just so I can make some more money. So I was always used to working more outside of my day job, because it's just, I always felt like I needed more. I wanted more, and if I want more, I need to make more to get what I want. Yeah. And that's the way it's always been. But the whole driving force behind starting Hat Launch when I did was my wife in 2017 actually rented me a Lamborghini to drive through the Colorado mountains. And a Lamborghini Gallardo is the car I've always wanted, like forever. Right. And after driving it, I was like, okay, how do I afford this? And this is like how I always do everything. I look at the price of the thing, and I'm always on top of my finances, like not in a good way. Like I know how much I have to spend down to the very cent, and I spend it, right? I'm not investing, I'm not saving money, but I'm at least smart in the sense that I'm not spending more than I'm making. So I'm like, okay, this car, I can get a used one for $100,000. How much does $100,000 cost on a 6-year loan? How much do I need to make per month to make that happen? Factor in insurance. And I'm like, okay, this is what I need to bring home extra on the side outside my day job. So it's not affecting what we're currently doing in our current life. It won't affect going on vacations. It has to be for my wife to bite off on it. It has to be completely paid for by something else. And that's when I was like, all right, this is the tag. This is how much it's going to cost per month. What business am I going to come up with to make this happen? And I'm a car guy, so I know car people. Like I know I can make a product. Specifically at this point, it was shirts. So I knew I could make some designs that weren't like super trademark infringing, and like I can't just like put like the Chevy bow tie on a shirt and sell it. Like I have to like actually make a design myself. So I actually have graphic design experience too. Like I really love art and graphic design. So I came up with like some generic car designs, put them on a website called Teespring, and on Facebook there's groups of segmented people that like certain types of cars. So like there'll be a Chevy Corvette Facebook group with like 80,000 people in it. That's 80,000 fish in a barrel that love Corvettes, that will love a cool shirt that has something Corvette related on it. You post the link in there, and the cool thing about Teespring is they print and ship it for you. So I did that, and like in 30 days I did like $2,500 in sales. Wow. So I was like, all right, well, there's the first car payment on that. And then I was like, okay, well, I know that car people also love hats. So anytime you go to the track, there's people wearing like black flex fit hats with, either like a part of a car or a race team or something on the hat. So I was like, okay, I want to do that for hats, and started looking, and there's no website that did it. So there it was. It's like, okay, so not only can I build this to use myself, I can be the Teespring for hats, right? So I'm like, that's huge, right? So I stood up the website and put my hat designs on there, and I sold like 100 hats in the first night. And I'm outsourcing all of the creation of the hats to my friend's mom in St. Louis, where I would send her an Excel. She'd stitch them. I'd pick them up, bring them home, box them all individually, and take them to the post office. So I did that for like 3 months, right? And after paying her all of those times to do it, I'm like, man, this is really cutting into my margins. I need my own machine. So then I got my own machine, and then I'm like, not really, I never run in a boarding machine before. I don't know what I was doing. So like I had to learn it, but staying up till 3 or 4 in the morning every night getting these hats done, not realizing how long it was actually going to take and all of that. Right. So that right there is like when, it really started being a lot of work, because I was staying up getting the orders done. And I think I had posted that I got the machine and on Facebook, and one person I was friends with had a business, and they ordered 100 hats for their business. And I was able to process 100 hats for one person versus 100 hats for 100 people. And it was so much easier. Still took forever, but it was one person I had to worry about. And for X amount of dollars, right? Covered the machine payment, covered almost a little bit of what it would cost for a Lamborghini. Not quite, but that right there is when I shifted the focus. Like, I got to stop wasting my time on all these one-offs and find just businesses. Like, for my time best spent, it's going to be in these businesses. And after finding a couple more and doing those on the single head, I'm like, well, I can only do one hat at a time. I need to get a 6-head machine, which does 6 hats at a time. And this thing's like $42,000. It's like the single head was $18,000 with the software that I needed to like make the designs, and then another $42,000 for this machine. So it's like, all right, YOLO, let's do it. Right. And the thing is like, by getting these loans and these machines, it puts the pressure on me to make sure I at least sell enough to pay for the machines. So even if I didn't feel like working or feel like making the sales or making the money to get the car that I wanted, I had to at least cover the payments on the machines, because otherwise it'd be coming out of my personal account, which is already down to zero because I overextend on everything. Right. So and that's how I operate best, is external pressure. Like, that's what keeps me going and keeps me driving forward. But funny enough, that that 6-7 machine was delivered the same week my first kid was born. So I'm doing my day job 9 to 5. I'm coming home stitching hats till 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm getting a $42,000 machine delivered to my house while I just had a newborn baby born. And in hindsight, I'm just an idiot. That was so much stuff, but we made it work. And that was the early days, right? Yeah.
So what do you think it was about you that had the spine? I mean, a lot of people aren't going to go out and buy an $18,000 machine on a,
right.
Hey, I hope I can sell some hats, and
right.
or a $42,000 machine. I hope I can sell more hats. Like, there's a lot in there, right? So how do you unpack that?
I mean, for me, like, I saw how many people were excited about hats and wanted hats. Mm-hmm. And I did see the gap, like, at least online, for being able to get them from a good source. So, like, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I could find people to buy hats. Okay. It's just a matter of how much time I spent trying to find them, like doing the sales myself. And that's really what, like, I never really felt like the only thing it would be is like, if I stopped working, then I would, like I said, I wouldn't bring in the sales to pay for the machines.
But you believed in that process enough that you could go out and do
definitely.
The ads and do the things.
Yeah, and like I honestly, at this point where I'm at now, after doing this for 5 years, I'm pretty certain that if I have a product that I believe in, I'm pretty sure I can do the same thing. Yeah. Like it's with most product. If you have a good product with a good offering, a good price, and especially a good customer experience, you're going to be able to sell it.
Yeah.
Just
no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's like I believe myself a lot more now than back then, but it is, I think it was just that belief that I know I can do it. And honestly, like, by forcing myself into those loans, I had to do it. Yeah. So it wasn't right. Yeah, it wasn't like a thing like,
if it didn't work, who cares?
Right. It's like I had to. So by doing that, you force yourself into doing it.
What have you learned throughout this process of stress and how you handle that? What do you do to overcome that? Like, help our listener.
It never ends. No. I can tell you that. Like, right now, I'm probably more stressed than I was back then with this whole building situation and getting that done. Like, choosing conventional loan versus SBA and like battling them out between the two. And like, if we go conventional, it's a 20% down payment, or SBA, it's 10%. Yeah. But now it's 100% financing through SBA. But to do SBA, you've got to do a phase 2 EPA environmental. And if that comes back dirty, then, and it's, if the remediation on the building is more than the cost of the property, I can't buy that property anymore. It doesn't make sense. Right. And then I'm like, oh shit, where am I going to go? Right. Like, we have to get these businesses together under the same roof, let alone just to operate better, but to continue to grow. So it's so stressful right now. But the stress is like, it's always there. It's always going to be there. I mean, you're going to have stress. It puts stress on your marriage. It puts stress on your friendships. It puts stress on you just in general. It's just, I guess, just managing it. And honestly, I don't even really know how I manage it. I just do it. Yeah. Like,
you think there's a passion for what you're doing though? I mean, there's got to be a passion, right? I mean, creating. Yeah.
Creating there's nothing more fulfilling and gratifying than seeing a problem, especially for me with like the software side of things, seeing a problem and creating a solution that solves the problem, and then seeing customers using that and getting, having happy customers as the outcome of it is so gratifying. And with doing what I'm doing in this business, like, we do that. It's like every week there's a new problem that's solved, and you just keep going. And the wins. So the wins outweigh the stress. And it's like it might outweigh it to where it's a wash and you're just neutral, but it keeps you going for sure.
So I saw on your website, it talked about delegate, automate, and innovate.
Yep.
So talk to me about those three
words.
Those
are the 3 words that mean a lot to me. So like, when I think about when I was at work and I had the 6 head and the single head in my house, my wife would go out there in the garage and run orders. And she just did it on her own. I didn't ask her to do it. She just knew that I had a lot to do, and like, she's watching the baby, but if the baby took a nap, she'd go out there and do it. I'd come home and there'd be like 4 out of the 10 orders done that I needed to get done. And I was like, holy crap. If I could just have someone doing this while I was at work, all I'd have to focus on is like getting customers and writing code. Like, this would be great. And that's where the next phase of the growth of the business is I got to get this out of my house and find a part-time person to run these machines for me, because I can't have a person working at my house. It's just awkward. But that's delegate. So delegating tasks to free yourself up to do the things that you're good at.
Yes.
That your time's most valuable spent doing.
And so I'm going to add to that. So I was 24, getting ready to be 25. I hired my first assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember after the end of the year of 2003, going home and saying, okay, to my wife, I'm going to hire an assistant. Yep. And it's basically going to be about 60%. I'm going to pay this person 60% of what I just made the year before.
Right.
Right. And so it's one of those defining moments in my life, right? Where it's like, wait, you're going to spend 60% of what you just made to hire another person. Right. You're not really that busy anyway. Right. But to what you just said, it freed me up to do what I'm uniquely qualified to do. Yep. Right. I always say, go out and play in traffic, go meet people, build a network, right? Yep. Do those things. And so I think for our listeners, if you're debating on hiring somebody, man, you just got to do it. Right. Right. You just got to do it. Again, I keep saying it, bet on yourself, make the hire, because you're going to do the work.
Right. And worst case, if it doesn't work out, get rid of them in a month and find someone else that does work out. Right. Right. And like that, it's funny, like today with the assistant discussion, I was literally talking about that this morning in the office. I'm like, I have to, like, before I came here, I'm going through my inbox where there's 4,800 unread emails and like organizing them. Yeah. It's literally a waste of my time. Yeah. And I'm just trying to get my inbox cleaned up. But it's like, I have to have someone at least putting things on my calendar and going through my inbox, because it's such a kill on time. I was 3 hours deep into that and I barely had them cleaned up. Right. Yeah.
Well, so, Robin's right down here behind us, about 12 feet away. I can tell you, since 2005, she's been unbelievable, right? The things it frees me up to do, and she's the dream processor, right? Hopefully we'll be the dream maker, and she processes the dreams. And so that's what we kind of do with our clients. But you're right, from calendar management, email management, those things are two things that get off our plate. So delegate is a big deal. So that was delegate, automate.
Yeah, automate is the tech side. Well, automate and innovate. So automation, like when I look at every single part of my business, how can I use tech to reduce the amount of man hours it takes to do it, to make it easier for the man hours that are actually doing the work, get it done? Or can you just completely make it so that no one even has to do it? It's just automated. And a lot of it is, especially when you're dealing with like customers, like a direct to consumer business, how can you let the customer solve their problems for themselves? So Amazon's really good at this. And like I say I want our custom hat business to be the Amazon of custom hats. Like I want it to be that hands off and that easy for anyone to go to our site, buy custom hats, and get the product. If there's ever a problem, railroad the solution to the problem, so the customer, all I have to do is click a button, type, click, done. There doesn't have to be any back and forth customer service. There doesn't have to be any uncomfortable conversations on our end or their end. Like, we know what we're going to do in the end of the day to solve that problem. How can you make it so the customer can just do that themselves, get there and be done? Right. So looking at every single part of the process in the business and applying automation in any form and doing that, like at the smallest granular level, makes the business more profitable, more scalable, and better than anyone else.
How much think time are you doing? I'm a big believer in think time. You see these journals, the journal back over here. I've been doing it since July of 2005. Like, that's where my ideas come from. So are you thinking a lot? If so, what's that process look like for you?
Too much. Okay. Right. It's funny that you say that too, because I was actually thinking about this morning too. This is hilarious. Like, you're tapping into my brain right now, but like, I don't take notes. Okay. I have no notes. It's all in my brain. Yeah. And I don't know. Like, I wish I could be a person that could write down on a piece of paper what I'm thinking, or take notes, like when I'm in a meeting, like talking or listening to someone speak. Like, me taking notes does not help me at all. So I don't really understand myself, or like why I'm able to do it that way. But I do think constantly, to the point that I could be in the car with my wife driving down the road and she's talking to me and I'm not listening because I'm thinking about processes and the problems that are currently going on. I think ADHD has something to do with that too, with the way my brain works. But that's a whole other conversation.
It's a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
Well, if I could, I mean, I would add to that the schedule. So delegate, automate, innovate doesn't rhyme with everything here, but the scheduling part. What I found is, as my business has gotten bigger and more people, is the think time was important, but I also have to schedule things. Right, because same thing. I could be driving down the road and checked out, but you know, like we want to be in the moment, right? You want to enjoy your kids, enjoy the journey, and it goes fast and all those things. Is I found is me having to schedule it. If I can't delegate it, I can't delete it. I got to schedule it, and I got to do that quickly, right? So,
and that's something that I'm bad at and getting way better at. During the beginning of this thing, like I've never had a schedule, and my life has just been chaotic. Like I'm the guy that showed up to work late every day. So like I was an awesome employee because I did great work, and I really like blew managers away with what I could do, like technically. But I was the guy that they always brought up because he's late every day.
Come on,
so
dude,
like,
just show up.
I remember I got put on a performance improvement plan. So like I was a contractor before I was actually hired at Express Scripts. And there's some issues with being a contractor where like management doesn't actually know how you're doing back at the home office. Like you got your manager above you that says he's late every day. That's all it gets back. But you know, when they actually end up hiring me as an employee, like that kind of shows that I'm doing pretty good. But it's hilarious. Like, you know, I was putting a performance improvement plan, and here I am now, like running a business of my own. And it's really hard for me to hold employees to a schedule when I myself was a turd being an employee back then, right? So it's super awkward. And like that's one thing with me is I actually don't want to be the boss. I don't want to be managing the people. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to, you know, I want to be pulling the strings and executing the business and let other people handle that.
I like it.
But yeah, like another funny little side note is like I needed a schedule, and I was trying to schedule my life and like build a day for myself that was structured, right? And I actually wrote out a list like of times that I wanted to do things in the day, right? And at the top is like Robert's schedule to not be a piece of shit. It's literally what it said at the top. And like it was like 7 a.m. wake up, you know, be out of the shower by 7:30, done, right? No taking hour-long bathroom breaks where I'm thinking on the toilet, because that's where I do all my thinking is on the freaking toilet. I think a lot of men do. But and just like lunch at 12, like be home at 5:30, and then dinner at 6. And like that never it can never happen. But I did that like 2 years ago, and I pulled it up again, and that like I looked at my day now, and subconsciously it's kind of fallen into that. And I was like, holy shit, like I'm waking up at 7.
It's the power of writing it down.
Yeah. And I guess I didn't really think about that till now, but like, you know, I have to drop my daughter off at school at 8:30 every day. So I'm at least, that's something that I have to do. So that figured out my first little section in the morning. I get to my office at 9, and then, you know, the other stuff in there is kind of not really scheduled, but it is getting to a point where it is kind of stuff's kind of falling in place. So it's super interesting that my life is kind of just like figuring itself out with this thing. And especially as I start delegating more, it's like at the start of the year, hiring Tyler as our CFO and then Danny as our COO. Like Danny's managing all of our people, all of our operations. Tyler's managing all of our finances and executing on that stuff. But I was doing both those things before they started, right? So getting that stuff on my plate too has also helped with the scheduling stuff. So
delegate, automate, innovate. Jeff, is this the time where I do Jeff, our producer over here? Is this the time I plug my own journal, which you got a copy of right here? This is going to help you, man. This is your daily planner, your weekly planner, your Sunday scorecard. I mean, it's got all sorts of stuff in here, man. So we'll talk offline about that, how this was a game changer. This is 20 years of work for me in one spot now. So I can go as a busy professional and dive into it. So let's talk about our potential, man. I think, you know, as people listen to podcasts, hopefully this podcast, there's a lot of potential out there. And we're maximizing it, but how do we maximize it more and get it to the next level that we want to be the number one hat guy or the number one financial guy, you know, in the world? Yeah.
The more I do this, and kind of going back to like, if I started another business, I'm pretty confident that I could just make it work, you know, because of what we've done here. Like, I feel like you get to this next level of like thought process where you start looking at the things around you for what they are. Like that barrel over there was built in a factory somewhere that probably employed 100 people. That's probably $100 million business that just made wood barrels. And it's crazy. The stuff that everything around you is made somewhere by a company that makes a ton of money to do that.
Yeah.
And there's so much stuff in the world that you just need one little sliver of that. And to do it, you just have to do a little bit better than the other guys that are out there. Right. And to me, it's almost debilitating because now I have so many other ideas that I want to execute on that I can't because I'm pigeonholed into my business now. Yeah. And I know if I leave it's not continue to flourish and grow like it is. And I want it to, but I have so many other things that I want to do that I just right now I can't. But I know if I stick to it for 5-10 more years, I'm going to have like this, not only just free time, but the capital to be able to build a team myself to execute on my visions and plans. But you just really start to see the world for what it is, as far as businesses and products and how that works, and realize that if you just put the time and energy and effort into it, it's gonna work. And anyone can literally do it. Anyone.
Yeah. So the circuits of success are your attitude, your belief system, the actions that you take ultimately get the results that you want, right?
Yep.
That's the circuits of success, hence the podcast name. And so, but your belief right there shines bright.
Yep.
And so I think for people listening, it's belief in ourself. It's belief
Absolutely.
in a process. It's belief in showing up to work. It's belief in the goal. It's belief, whatever the things are, right? That's gotta be, and what I'm hearing from you is to your core, you believe in your work ethic and in what you're going to do and what you're going to go build. True?
Oh yeah. And betting on myself.
Yeah.
I know if I bet on myself, I'm gonna be the person that's gonna have my best interest in mind. Yep. I'm gonna be the one that has to do the work. So I'm just gonna continually bet on myself and push myself to get where I want or need to be.
Yep. What advice would you have for the 2016 guy? Right. So Robert's 2 years away from even starting this biz. Mm-hmm. What advice would you have for that guy?
Oh boy. Wow. God, I haven't even thought about that. Advice. Oh boy. Get help sooner. Like if I would have got out of my garage a little quicker and had more help at the beginning there, it would have just scaled faster. Yep. But yeah, that's a tough question. I really wouldn't change anything because it worked out. Like all the turmoil or stress or problems or like, what's really funny is through growing this thing, I've had moments where I felt like I had to reach out to the person that's done it to get advice. And every single time I've done that, they've never responded. When you think about like sending an Instagram DM to like Andy Frisella or like the guys that you listen to on the podcast, it's like, if I could get them to just talk to me for an hour, they have all the answers. But every time that connection's ever made or I never get the advice, you figure it out on your own. And when you figure it out on your own, you really know it, you know?
You see me scrolling here because I just wrote down on my weekly scorecard for this week. So I always write down every week my biggest awareness. Yeah. Okay, so what my biggest awareness was. And what I wrote down was I was with somebody yesterday, and it's, sometimes you think people could be different if they're in your same position. Yeah. Like what you just said. You got to reach out to them. Right. They've got the magic answer. Boom. Right. The world is figured out. I wrote down my biggest awareness was we're all the same people. We're all the same people. Yep. We're doing great work. Yep. Keep freaking going.
Right. And I think, and what's funny is now I have a YouTube channel, 1,500 subscribers. I'm killing it. But I have people reaching out to me in the same way that I was reaching out to those people for the advice. Yep. And it's like, my advice is you have to put in the work. And that's like, we can go on the whole tangent of what I feel about all the fake people on social media. And like, so my YouTube channel is, I want to be showing the true, I want to be the true side of the entrepreneurial journey and show it unfiltered, never sell a scammy course on how to get rich quick or successful, because the people that are going to respond to give these people advice, it's going to be for their monetary benefit. That's right. Like almost 100% of the time. Yep. And if that person isn't doing that, they're freely giving the advice through content like a podcast or YouTube channel, That's right. So, I love just watching the fake gurus out there, sell their courses and stuff where selling courses on something they've never even done themselves, right? They're making the money on
about people that I follow that like they've never built anything, they've never
Right.
built a business, and it's like, man,
Yep.
I don't know. I could have a whole nother show about that too.
Right.
It drives me nuts. So
we should do one.
Let's do it. We'll do it together. We'll just talk about like real raw stuff. You know?
Pull up their Instagrams. And,
Well, I got this little
see.
ladder over here. You can't see it, but it talks about your perseverance, your
Yeah.
courage, your belief, your attitude,
Right.
all those things, and then ultimately you get the freedom. And I think what I always say is you tip the ladder upside down. That's the way people want to climb the ladder.
Yes.
They want the freedom.
Right.
Right. They
Yep.
don't see the stuff at 3:00 in the morning when you don't even know your name. You can't even sleep because you're so sleep deprived. You got a
Right.
baby bottle. You got a diaper over here. Oh, and by the way, I got to be at work 5 minutes late tomorrow. Right.
Yep.
They don't see that side. They see the guy that's doing $1 million a month. selling
Exactly.
hats.
Right. Yeah, and that's where you just there is no quick path to get there.
Yeah.
It's always going to be the work.
Yeah.
And even if I did start something new, I would start from the dirt up. Like I'd have a leg up because of what I've built now and knowing some of the pitfalls I went through.
Right.
So it will be easier the next time, but you're still going to fail. You're still going to trip on yourself, and it's just put in the work.
So how many of the fears you've put in your mind have actually blown up to the magnitude you put them in your mind to be?
Oh goodness. We've got over 40 employees now. So that weighs heavily on me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like any downturn in sales, even at just the day level, like if there's a bad day in sales,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit. Like
you go.
my mom works for me. Like my sister works for me now too. Jeez, what am I doing to myself? My sister-in-law works for me.
Yeah.
Like it's
Your
family.
friends,
It's
yeah.
family at this point too, Like
Yeah.
if this goes belly up, my family's out of work. But then I think about it, like, those people can go get jobs somewhere else too. And then, not that I ever want that to happen, but
I think the point of that
have
question is
to-
look where you went though, right? If we ever go belly up, we go to this extreme of these fears.
That's
we put
where
in
it
our
always
mind,
goes.
Right?
Right.
False evidence is appearing real. We put them in our mind. They don't blow up to the magnitude we put them in our mind to be. Yeah, maybe you have a down year. Maybe you have a bad month, a bad quarter. I don't know.
Right.
But in reality is you're going to pivot. You're a good enough business leader and a good enough
Yep.
business owner, and you got the grind and the hustle. You'll pivot.
And honestly, the hard times are the good times.
Yes.
Because that's when the business owner or the executor really straps in and fixes shit and makes it better. So
That's right.
in this current downturn and ads not doing well, I'm going through the customer's experience and making it so much better than it ever was. Because it's the uncomfortable pressure of like, I've got to make this better because we need more sales. And it's the problem right now that needs fixed, right?
Yep.
So I hunker down and I've rolled out a lot of really good shit that's having a great return in the business, but it's the pressure of like when things are great, we're doing $750,000 a month. I'm just like kind of coasting, this is great,
Right.
yeah. And then that 750 dips down to 500, and we've staffed up to handle what 750 takes to get done. Then you're kind of like, oh shit, we got to get these sales back
go.
in. I got like, what's going on, right? Wait a few weeks to make sure it's not just a blip. And if it's not just a blip, all right, we've got to hunker down and figure something out. And it's I've really realized that it's like it's in the times of the discomfort where you really prevail and make things better.
Yeah.
So if things are perfect, you're never going to
We're going to learn.
improve or do anything. You're just be complacent.
What's Chat GPT, AI, all those things?
Oh, God, don't get me started.
How are they going to impact our world?
Oh God. Word salad essay dissertations on every LinkedIn post underneath the comments of people trying to look cool.
Yeah.
Not even just LinkedIn posts. Jesus. The entire internet's going to become word salad, word soup all over the place of people creating clickbait blog articles. I mean, blogs are already flooded the internet for SEO purposes, just to get freaking clicks and ad revenue. It's just going to create this generic just blah of an internet space. And I really dislike it. The art side of things, really cool. So like for me as an artist, I can just type in to get a inspiration or an idea to create something. And I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
It's like I could get inspiration, take something that it shows me and then recreate it to actually make it look how I
Some
want.
ideas,
Yeah. I would never expect something spat out from AI to be like the final art piece, but using it for inspiration, I think is super powerful.
Yep.
But as far as I hired my first programmer, maybe almost a year ago now. And he's completely green, right out of school, went to Rankin too.
Yep.
And he used ChatGPT a lot. And every time I see him pulling it up when we're sitting down to do something, and I'm like, here you go again, using ChatGPT to teach you what you're doing. And I've tried it a couple times, and I was surprised at how good it was at writing a solution. But 3 out of the 5 times I tried to use it, it didn't work.
Okay.
It wasn't right.
Yeah.
And it's AI. The biggest problem with AI is it's not actually artificial intelligence. It's pulling data from human inputted databases.
Yeah.
This is our words, our code, our everything that we've just put in these data sets that the AI is pulling from. It's not thinking of anything on its own. No, it's not artificially creating anything.
Right.
It's just pulling. So in the form of content of text and everything, it's literally just taking a bunch of different sentences and words that other people have written on the internet and putting them into an article.
Yeah.
And when you think about trying to get factual information from AI, where is that AI pulling the information from? How up to date is that information?
Yep.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So
ChatGPT is 2 or 3 years behind, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
It worries me for critical thinking for our kids.
Oh, for sure.
So you just go there now and type something.
I wish I had it in school.
Yeah, right.
I would never do. I mean, I didn't do any homework anyways in school, but I would do it because I could just make ChatGPT do it, right?
Yeah.
Geez.
Scary, man.
Math
It's
problems literally show you what to write to get the equation done. Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. Last question here for you. Future greater than your past. That's the logo here. That's hats you guys have made. That's the mission of our firm is to help people achieve a future greater than your past. So when you hear that, what does that mean to you?
Growth. Just personal growth.
Yep.
Learning and constantly improving your relationships. For me, I need to improve my health. I'm not a healthy person. I eat terribly. I don't drink water. I drink diet soda every day. I need to get in a gym. Right. For me, that's one part of my growth that I want to see better in myself. And also the schedule stuff. I want to get better with that. Yep. I do want to be able to detach and spend time with my kids, like you said earlier, because we just had our second, and she's 2 months now. So 4.5-year-old and a 3-month-old almost. But being able to really spend time with my family, and that becoming a dad and a good father, that's another part of my growth too. I hope everyone has the ability to be a dad and a father too, because it's super incredible. Cool. It's nuts. It's just personally bettering yourself. That's where I want to go. And if that happens to be in a business space too, that's great. It just improves my life and the life of those around me,
I love it. Well, I think they can exist. I mean, that's what I've tried to make a career out of, right? That your personal, professional, your financial, your spiritual, your emotional, your intellectual, all those areas physically, they can all be together.
Right.
That's what we're trying to help people do. So
Absolutely.
Where do our listeners find more of you and your company and an easy process so I can go in and buy, hats?
Get some hats, Hatlaunch.com. That's where you can order hats. We also have shirtlaunch.com, so you can get shirts just as easy. The website is about 8 months out of date from the Hat Launch one. So I do all my innovations and stuff there. Yeah. And then I take all that code and paste it into the Shirt Launch side. So the process is good, but not as good as Hat Launch, but it will be soon. Awesome. But I'm the Launch Dude. So Launch Dude basically on all social media platforms, but YouTube, the Launch Dude. Launch Dude was taken by a guy that has one video from 20 years ago on there.
I love that.
Dang it. But yeah, I'm really hitting the YouTube stuff hard, and I'm putting a lot of work in these videos. They're 20-minute long videos that are hopefully Netflix quality is what you guys see out of it. The older stuff, no, that was me doing it myself, but now I got a producer who actually lives with me in my house for weeks at a time, follows me around, and that is freaking exhausting, let me tell you. I don't know how celebrities do it, having to do following them around with a camera. Being on camera all day by itself is exhausting, and then doing it while trying to run a business is holy crap, this is hard. But yeah, please check me out on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
Awesome, man. Well, we will send people your way. We'll put it in the show notes. It's been awesome having you, Robert. Appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, it's great. to my Granite City, all grade school education there.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's great.